A long time ago, deep in a forest in Germany, a poor woodcutter and his 2 children were struck with grief from the sudden death of his beloved wife. They struggled for some time, until one day, when he was selling wood at market, he met a woman. They were married soon after, and she became a stepmother to his children. Years later, their food was practically gone, lost to the Great Famine, and certainly not enough to feed 4. Where there was work, it was hard and didn't pay well. They began to suffer deeply. One evening, after they finished dinner and sent their children to bed, the woodcutter and his wife sat down to talk about the dire situation they faced. One of the children, Hansel, knew better than to trust his stepmother. He pretended to go to bed, but instead slowly crept to a hiding spot where he could listen to them speak.
Are the children asleep?
Yes.
What will we do? We have nothing left to eat save these 2 loaves of bread, and we have no means to get more. What will we do? What will become of us and our children? How will we feed them?
I will tell you what. Early tomorrow morning we will take the children out into the forest where it is thickest. There we will light a fire for them and give each of them 1 piece of bread. Then we will go to our work and leave them alone.
And then?
We will leave them there. It will be 2 fewer mouths to feed.
No.
Yes. They will not find their way home, and we will be rid of them.
Rid of them? No, I will not do that. How can I leave my children alone in the forest? The wolves would soon find them and tear them to pieces.
You are a fool. If we do not, all 4 of us are doomed to die of hunger. There's no food. We must do what is hard but right to survive.
Kill our children.
It is terrible, but it must be done. If not, then you may as well plane the planks for our coffins. You know I am right.
But I feel terrible about the poor children all the same.
As do I. But these are hard times.
Hansel was crushed to hear his parents' plan and snuck back to their room, where Gretel sat up to greet him.
What is it?
Our parents are leaving us in the woods tomorrow, Gretel. There is no food, and this is the only way they can survive. Be quiet, Gretel. They will hear you.
Our parents are abandoning us.
Please, stop crying. I think I know a way to help us.
How? Where are you going?
I have a plan, but first I need the white pebbles from outside the cottage.
Hansel waited until his parents went to bed, and after he put on his coat, he walked silently to the front of the cottage. There, he picked up white pebbles that shone in the moonlight. He stuffed his coat full of them and went back to bed.
What will we do?
Don't worry about tomorrow. I will make sure we get home.
Hansel and Gretel spent the rest of the night awake, worrying silently about the next day, and just before dawn, they managed to find a little sleep. But that small peace was broken by their stepmother, who shook them awake.
Get up, you lazy brats! We're going into the forest to cut some wood. Get dressed. Come now. Here's some bread to eat, but do not eat it too quickly. This is all we have.
Hansel, I will hold your bread for you.
Thank you.
What a good girl you are, Gretel.
Gretel put the bread in her apron, and they set off into the woods. On the way, Hansel would stop and drop a stone before catching up to the group. Eventually, his father noticed him falling behind.
Hansel, what are you doing? Keep up with us, the woods are dangerous.
The woodcutter and his wife took them deep into the woods, and all along the way, Hansel threw the stones. In a clearing, they settled down while their father gathered tinder and made a fire.
Now, children, lie down by the fire and rest. We will go into the forest and cut some wood. When we are done, we will come back and get you.
Be safe. I love you.
Come on.
And with that, their father left them in the woods. Hansel and Gretel ate a bit of bread and played a game before laying down to rest. When they woke, it was twilight, and the fire was almost out. Gretel began to cry, but was calmed by her brother, who reminded her that all they had to do was wait for the moon. While they waited, they had a bit of bread, stoked the fire, and played a game. After the moon rose, the pebbles shone like silver, and they followed the path, and soon enough they found their home.
Look who's home!
Hansel, Gretel, are you all right?
Yes, father.
Yes.
You are naughty children. You must have fallen asleep. We couldn't find you and we called for you, but you didn't answer. We thought you were never coming back.
We are so lucky to have you back. Eat this and go to bed. You must be so tired. Now, off to bed.
Their stepmother followed them into their bedrooms.
Into bed. You are naughty children. Sleep well. You have a busy day tomorrow.
Their stepmother left them alone, and soon after, Hansel hopped out of bed.
Where are you going?
Stay here. I want to hear them.
The children must go. We didn't take them deep enough. Tomorrow we will take them further into the woods. They will not find their way back again.
No.
No? We have no other means of saving ourselves.
I think it would be better to share the last mouthful with your children.
My children. They are yours. I married you, not them. We will do it tomorrow. Do you understand?
The woodcutter and his wife went back and forth for a while, but in the end, he agreed to do it once more. Before going to bed, she locked the door. When all was silent, Hansel tried the door, but was surprised to find it locked. Having no way to get the key from his stepmother, he crept back to his bedroom.
What is it, Hansel?
They intend to take us into the woods again. Deeper this time.
No, what will we do?
I don't know.
Aren't there more stones?
The door is locked. I don't have a way of getting outside.
Oh, what will we do?
We'll think of something. I will. Don't cry, Gretel. It will be all right.
He consoled her throughout the night, and before they knew it, morning had arrived. Their stepmother came in and woke them just as she had the day before, and soon they were off, with a meager portion of bread each. This time, as they walked, Hansel took a bit of his bread and crumbled it, leaving a trail of crumbs toward home. They walked until they were deeper into the forest than they had ever been. Here, they stopped. The woodcutter made a fire like before and kissed his children goodbye before following his wife into the woods.
How will we get home now, brother?
I left a trail of breadcrumbs to follow. We should rest. It will be a long walk.
The two slept for a little, and when they woke, they searched for the trail, but soon realized that birds had come and eaten the crumbs.
No, what will we do now?
We can find the way.
How?
We came from this way. If we just go in this direction, we'll find ourselves at home.
They walked for some time, but soon enough, night fell.
We are no closer to finding our cottage, and now it is dark.
It would be best to rest until morning, I think. We will only get more lost if we wander through the forest at night.
They slept under a big tree until morning, and after having a small portion of bread, they set off again. After a while, they came across a beautiful white bird that sang for them, and when the song was finished, it seemed to beckon them to follow it. The bird led them through the woods and to a clearing where a cozy house sat.
Hansel, we found a house.
We're saved.
They ran to the house and saw it was made of bread and candy, the windows clear sugar.
Is the house made of?
Food? It's delicious. Try it.
We are saved.
This house could feed us for years, Gretel.
Nibble, nibble on my house. What's your name, little mouse? Gnawing on my window pane, come and tell me your name.
They waited in silence for a moment before resuming their feast. When Gretel broke a window to taste the sugar, the door opened and a very old, almost blind woman came out, supporting herself on a cane. Hansel and Gretel backed away from the house. The woman went to them, and upon seeing they were children, asked them how they came to be here. Hansel told her what had happened to them, and she invited them in.
It's a good thing you've come here, then. Please come in and stay with me. I've been preparing my supper, and I would gladly share it with you. Nothing will harm you anymore. Eat whatever you like.
After dinner, the woman showed them to separate rooms and told them they should stay as long as they liked.
You've had such a long journey, and all your troubles are at an end. I will see you in the morning.
The two slept soundly for the first time in days. In the morning, the old woman went to Hansel's room and shook him awake.
What is this?
Shut up, child. Come with me.
Hey.
She dragged him out to the stables, where she revealed herself to be a witch. He fought her all he could, but he could not get away from her. She threw him in and locked the door.
What is going on?
You will stay here until you are fat, and only then will you come out. But you will only come out for my supper.
No, help!
In the woods, no one can hear you scream.
As the witch left him, he looked around the stable and saw it was littered with the skeletons of children. Inside the house, the witch went to Gretel's room and shook her awake as well.
Get up, you lazy brat!
What?
I said up! Fetch me some water and cook something good for your brother. He's in the stable outside, and when he's fat, I will eat him.
What?
Are you deaf? I'm going to eat your brother! Now go make him fat!
Gretel burst into tears as the witch forced her to cook. Once the food was done, Gretel carried it out to the stables and cried as she told her brother what the witch planned to do. Her brother comforted her as best he could, but the witch dragged her back into the house soon after. This went on for several weeks, until one day the witch appeared at the stable instead of Gretel.
Hansel, stretch out your finger so I may feel how fat you are.
But Hansel did not hold out his finger, rather the finger bone of one of the children. The blind witch was fooled.
You are nothing but bone!
The witch went in to beat and scold Gretel, whom she accused of not feeding her brother. For the next few days, the witch watched Gretel bring out the food to Hansel, and when she checked how fat he was, she was furious upon feeling his bony finger again.
It is impossible!
She went into the house and screamed for Gretel.
Bring me some water! Whether Hansel is fat or lean, I will kill him and cook him right now!
Gretel could only cry at her brother's impending death and was quickly caned by the witch.
I'll give you a reason to cry, you little brat! Once I eat your brother, you're next! Get me some water!
Dear God, help us. If the wolves in the forest had killed us, we would have at least died together.
God won't help you. Keep your noise to yourself. Nothing will help you.
Gretel hung the cauldron and filled it with water before lighting a fire.
We'll bake first. I've already heated the oven and kneaded the dough. Creep in and see if it is properly heated so that we can shut the bread in. What are you waiting for?
I don't know how to do it. How do you get in?
Stupid girl, the door is big enough. Just look, I can get in myself.
Gretel pushed her, and the witch fell headfirst into the oven. Gretel slammed the iron door and locked it as the witch screamed for mercy. She watched the witch burn to death, and after she went to the stable, freed Hansel, and told him what had happened. They searched her house and pocketed any valuables they could find. Then they broke off a bit of food and ran back into the woods. After a while, they came to a river.
How can we cross this? There's no bridge in sight.
And no boat crosses either. But a white duck is swimming there. If I ask her, do you think she will help us over? Little duck! Little duck, do you see? We need your help. Come over to me. There's not a plank or bridge in sight. Please take us across on your back so white.
And the duck came over as asked, and Hansel got on.
Well, get on.
No, that will be too heavy for the little duck. She'll take us across, one by one.
The duck took Hansel across and returned for Gretel. Once they were both across the river, they held hands and walked through the woods. Eventually, they found their way home. Upon knocking, their father opened the door and broke down into tears and held them.
Hansel! Gretel!
Father!
After their happy reunion, they asked about the stepmother and were glad to hear that she had died.